So welcome back again in 14th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is. So far we have discussed till now 13 chapters. So I had opportunity to take till 11th chapter, hopefully, if I am correct, and 12, 13, 2 chapters I could not take. So I would continue with 14th chapter and ahead. So let me share my screen. So here it goes. So hopefully you are able to see the screen here. Okay. So this 14th chapter is called Three Modes of Material Nature. So how this whole material universe is actually activated in three modes. There are three modes. As we know, in any vehicle, there are some gears. Like in bikes, usually there are how many? 3 gears, right? And as well in cars also there are 4 gears. So similarly, the whole material universe is also made into 3 gears. Okay, so in between also there are some mixture of all threes, but specifically there are 3 gears which are always active into this whole cosmic universe. Okay, so Bhagavad Gita 14th chapter describes about these 3 modes, 3 modes of material nature. Okay, so as usual we will be seeing all things, recap, chapter overview, chapter contents, and chapter summary at last. Okay, so before that we go ahead, we'll have some small little synopsis of 13th chapter, specifically 13th chapter. So in 13th chapter we had the discussion of 6 things: Purusha, Prakriti, Chatra, Chatragya, Jnanam, and Gya. The 6 things. So what are those 6 things? I would like to speak very quickly with you all. Just let me see the chats, if any. Yeah. Okay, so there are 6 questions were asked from Arjuna to Lord Krishna. So, Lord, what is Purusha? What is Prakriti? What is Chatra? What is Chatragya, Jnana, and Gya? Okay, so what are they? So from 2nd to 7th sloka, this is discussed. What is Chatra? Chatra means the place where we act. Okay, so Chatra means what? The body. Okay, so what we have got the body, all of us have got the body, right? So this body in which we are acting, so these bodies are called Chatra. Okay, so Chatra also means the place of irrigation, or place where we erect our buildings and our bungalows. So that's called, also called Chatra. Okay, where we act, but usually we are acting into this body. I mean to say, we are soul, we are not this body, and we are acting into this body. So this is the dead matter, which is actually the body made up of 5 elements. Most probably 8 elements. Okay, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. These are the 8 elements by which our Chatra is made, the body is made. And there are 2 Chatragyas. There are 2 Chatragyas. Chatragya means the knower of this Chatras, or the field of activities. Who are they? One is we ourselves, means Atma, and another Chatragya is Paramatma. Okay, so both of them are there. As we know, some many times what happens in villages, if you have some little understanding of village settings, so big lands, people those who are irrigating, people those who are doing agriculture in that land is someone, and the real owner of that land is someone else, isn't it? Many times it happens. But uh, you know, the crops, whatever they get, they divide it into 2 sections. Okay, so similarly the whole body is actually our field, is our, but the real owner of that field is Paramatma. As we know, as we saw the example of a field. Okay, so there are two Kshatragya, and also there is different attributes of Kshatragya mentioned. Then from 8th to 12th sloka, we saw how there are 20 elements of knowledge, starting from humility. Okay, what is knowledge? So there are 20 elements which is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita 13th chapter, which is called knowledge. And rest, everything is what? Not the knowledge. Okay. Amanittam, adambittam. How one should be humble, how one should be prideless. And so these all 20 qualities we had discussed. They are called knowledge. And this is the way one can actually attain knowledge. And so this is quite very much rare nowadays in education system. So in education system nowadays, in colleges and schools, people they learn everything except knowledge. What Bhagavad Gita tells to be knowledge, that actually they never go through. Okay. So now from 13th till 19th sloka, there is description of soul and super soul. There are two object of knowledge, means soul and super soul. By having these qualities of knowledge, one should approach to two objects of knowledge, and those two objects are soul. One is soul and super soul. One must know soul and super soul. So if we have if we have understood this soul and super soul, means we are already knowledgeable people. Whether we have the PhD degree or not, we are knowledgeable persons. Okay. So then from 20 to 26 sloka, there is description of Prakriti Purusha. So what is this Prakriti and what is this Purusha? Okay. So Prakriti is feminine gender. I mean, and Purusha means the masculine. Okay. So there's something called Purusha, there's something called Prakriti. Okay. So Prakriti is controlled by Purusha. Hmm. Prakriti is controlled by Purusha. Just like I have the laptop in front of me, so I can control it. Okay, I have some domain of control in my life. So whatever I could control, the things which are controlled, that's called Prakriti, and the controller is called Purusha. So we could control many things, right? But many times we could not control few things. But there is another Purusha, it's called Param Purusha, which will be described in next chapter. That person is called the real Purusha. And we are also Purusha, but imitator Purushas. Okay. So all the souls are combinedly called Purushas. And the souls who have entered into the material elements, earth, water, fire, air, ether, these all material elements is called Prakriti. Okay. What we are actually doing, what we are manipulating, they are called Prakriti. Okay. So super soul is actually Paramatma is called real Purusha. Okay. And at last we saw how one can get the real eyes of knowledge. Okay. What is that real eye of knowledge? Dhyana Chakshu. One must know what is Prakriti and Purusha. Every living entity is made of two things, soul and the matter. Okay. So where matter becomes Prakriti and soul is Purusha. Okay. So the true seer is what? True seer is one who is a true seer, means the person who really see things as it is. The people, those who see that, they are actually not the doers, but Prakriti is actually the doers. And how Prakriti is a doer, which is going to be described in this particular chapter, 14th chapter, in which is called three modes of material nature. Okay. So this 14th chapter is divided into three sections. Okay. First section from first sloka to 13th sloka, there is description of conditionings of souls by these material modes. Okay. There are three modes of material nature. First one is called mode of goodness, sattva. Second one is called mode of passion, rajas. And third one is called mode of ignorance, tamas. SRT, you can remember. Sattva, rajas, tamas. Very simple. Sattva means goodness. Passion means rajas. Rajas means passion. Tamas means ignorance. So how all living entities are actually bound like shackles by these three modes. Then second section describes about effects of conditioning by the modes. So there are different effects of different modes. Okay. So what are those effects of different modes, which is described from 14th sloka to 11th sloka? And in the last section, the description of how one can go beyond these modes. Okay. Everybody, practically everybody in these three modes. You can find here Krishna and Arjuna, they're both talking. And there is a shackle, there is a iron chain. And after talking, this iron chain is broken, right? So modes means gunas means rope also. One of the meaning of guna means rope. Okay. So how to break this rope by which every living entity is actually practically bound and they are helpless. Helplessly, they are bound into this modes of material nature. So let's go ahead in section 1. Conditioning of the souls by material modes. How living entities are actually bound by three modes of material nature. Let's go ahead with text 1. So first, Krishna glorifies this pure knowledge what we are going to discuss. He glorifies it by telling the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna is telling, again I shall declare to you the supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained the supreme perfection. Okay, so this knowledge what we are going to discuss, if you know it, then our perfection is assured. If you really know it nicely, and we could apply in our life. Okay. Param bhuya prakshami jnananam jnanam uttamam yagyatva muniya sarve param siddhi mitogna gata. Many great sages have actually got perfection by knowing this knowledge, which are going to be revealed in just matter of some few minutes. Okay. So idam jnanam upashritya mama sadharmyamagataha sarge pinopajayante pralayena vyapyanti cha. By one becoming fixed in this knowledge can attain to the transcendental nature like my own. Thus established, one is not born at the time of creation or disturbed at the time of dissolution. By knowing this knowledge, one is actually perfectly fearless in any circumstance. Okay, everybody want to become fearless, right? They have different courses to become fearless, but unless and until they have this knowledge and how this three modes is working and how every limit is bound and what is the way coming out of it, one cannot have fearlessness into their life. So now let's go ahead. How material existence is coming from Krishna. Krishna first describes this. Okay, how these material elements, even the dead material elements, is also coming from Krishna. So Lord Krishna tells the total material substance, Brahma, called Brahman, is the source of birth, and it is the Brahman that I impregnate, making possible the births of all living beings, O son of Bharata. So Lord Vishnu, as Mahavishnu, as we already discussed many times, that Lord Mahavishnu manifests from himself what is called Prakriti. Okay, so what is called Prakriti is, you can say, one of the maid servant of Lord Vishnu. Okay, Prakriti. And in the personal way, if you see, then her name is Parvati or Durga. Okay. So these material elements, which is actually we are able to see everywhere around, we see dead material elements, which is nothing but a small little energy coming out from Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu is none other than Krishna. It's Krishna's expansion of the expansion in one way. So this material nature is actually created by Supreme Lord Narayana, okay, or Vishnu. And in that Prakriti, I mean, into the womb of maid servant of Vishnu, in this material nature, Krishna impregnates living entities. Okay, so this union of father and mother and begetting children is not new. Okay, it has been coming since conception of this creation, and everything is coming in that concept only. Okay, so this matter is dead, and in that matter, we all souls are being embedded or impregnated by the will of Supreme Personality Godhead. Okay, by the vision. You can see here, Mahavishnu is actually lying down on the causal ocean, and just by his glance, he impregnates all those souls which were there in the universe before cataclysm, before annihilation, and they're again let loose, being impregnated in the womb of this material nature, and we all becomes sons of Supreme Lord Narayana in this way. And Lord Narayana, I mean Krishna himself, he says that Sharva Yonisha Konte Murtya Sambhavantiyah Tasam Brahma Mahadyoni Aham Bija Pradapita. I should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed giving father. Okay, so people they say that how God is Supreme Father, but they do not know how God is Supreme Father. Many times in our childhood, we used to hear these prayers, Tumaya Mata Chapita Tumeva, you are the father and you are the mother. But how he is father and how he is mother is very nicely depicted in Bhagavad Gita and more elaborately in Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. So how this, how Krishna becomes the Supreme Father of every living entity. How? By impregnating every living entity through his glances into the dead material nature, which is none other than Durga. Okay, and in this way, we are all been created through the effect of through the potency of Supreme Lord Narayana. Okay, so and after getting into this matter, then it starts the real circus. Then it starts the real play, the play of material nature through three modes. And what are those three modes? Goodness, passion, and ignorance. Sattvam rajastam iti guna prakriti sambhava nibadhanti mahabaho dehe dehinam avvayam. And after getting embedded into this matter, material nature consists of three modes. Living entity is actually bound, conditioned by these three modes. They are conditioned. You can see here, Lord Krishna is above, and there are three modes: goodness, passion, ignorance. That are simply playing with this, playing with the living entities like us, just like a player plays with different, what we say. There are different dolls we play. Um, Many times, if you find in fair Mela, you find there are some dolls are played by player, but player is not seen behind. Okay, the puppet shows what we know. The puppet shows, you see, there are no threads seen so easily, but puppets are just playing around. So these three modes is actually working, and we are the puppets, and we are just running, being influenced by these three modes. Okay, so there are three modes. First is called goodness. Okay, so how this goodness binds? Goodness is also not so good. Okay, so how it binds? Tatra sattvam nirmalatvat prakashakamanayam shukshangena vadnati jnana sangena chanaga. O sinless one, the mode of goodness, being purer than the others, is illuminating, and it frees one from all sinful reactions. Those situated in that mode becomes conditioned by a sense of happiness and knowledge. Okay. So mode of goodness is best among all both of the modes, mode of passion and ignorance. Why? It gives little facility. It gives little facility to come out from suffering and sinful reactions. It gives facilities. Okay. And the people, those who are influenced by this mode of goodness, they become conditioned by sense of happiness. They feel they are better happy than so many people around in ignorance and passion. They get big degrees, suppose PhDs and this and that. After that, they feel like I'm well educated person. I'm quite better than so many people around. I have so much knowledge. And then he starts comparing, and I feel like sense of yes, accomplishment. We are better. I am happy. So this sense of being happy and well situated, that again binds that person into mode of goodness. Okay, and in this way we see how mode of passion binds. Mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings, O son of Kunti, and because of this, the embodied living entity is bound to material fruitive actions. So there are majority of people, they are bound by mode of passion. Their only and only slogan is work, work, work till you die, and after working just get money as much, amass money as much as you can, just increase the figures of your bank balance, and that's the actually the only goal. Don't consider what's going to happen in the future. Just keep working. Just keep uh, no, just keep kicking people's in the back. Just go ahead, just thrashing everyone. So this is actually the mode of passion in which people are bound by fruitive activities. Okay, I will do this much, then I will get this much money. People they say they always keep calculating. I am working this many hours now. Because I'm working 12 hours, I'm getting some 80,000 rupees per month. Just if I'll work for 14 hours, then I'll get some 1,20,000 rupees. So let me work 1 lakh. I mean, let me work for 14 hours. Okay, so they go for 14 hours. They keep working like donkeys. So, but human life is not meant for to just work like donkeys. There are many people, their life goal is just work, 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 work. And after working, they toil all their money, all their time into working. And after 30-40 years, they get so many uh, dangerous types of diseases, and then again they invest all that whatever hard earned money they have into health. And anyway, how much, no matter how much money they spend, they cannot again revive that health. So in this way, and the majority of people that are into mode of passion, they get bound. Okay. Then there are people those are in ignorance. Okay, just let me edit it a little bit. How mode of ignorance binds. How mode of ignorance binds. So this is the mode of ignorance which binds one by pramad alasya nidra. Pramad means madness, alasya means indolence, and nidra means sleep. So there are people, they do not want to get a lot of money. There are some people that do not want to remain happy. They just want some few things. They think that if somebody gives me beer, somebody gives me illicit sex, somebody gives me, uh, I mean, just leisure time to sleep more and more. That's it. My life is bindas. I don't want anything else. Okay. So there are many people, those who get into this mode of ignorance, and their situation becomes very pathetic. Okay. So in this way, these three modes, it's not that one person is fully into ignorance and like black and white. Okay. So there is no such black and white, fully into ignorance, fully into goodness, fully into passion. There are always some mixture of these three modes always working. Okay. So there is a constant fight amongst these modes, even in individuals. Okay. Sometimes mode of goodness becomes very much strong. Sometimes becomes passion is strong. Ignorance and goodness becomes down. Sometimes becomes ignorance is strong, then goodness and passion goes down. So in this way, there is constant struggle between these three modes. Sometimes we find also like sometimes drunkards, they say very good words. They say, no problem, I am whatever I am, but tomorrow I'll go to temple, and they say very wonderful words. You find like he has become such a great sage or something like that. And sometimes the good people that are in mode of goodness, he starts behaving such a way that you find like shocking. Oh, how that person could behave like that. So always there is fight between different modes, even in any individual. Okay. So different modes are always keep competing with each other. So when which mode is in prominence, how to detect? Then Lord Krishna goes ahead to tell us how we can understand which mode is actually in action now. So first is mode of goodness. So mode of goodness, manifestation, the mode of goodness can be experienced when all the gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge. There are 9 gates of the body, as we have discussed already. Okay. So there are 9 gates: eyes, 2 nostrils, 2 ears, mouth, then 2 procreating holes, okay, the gates. Okay. So like this, there are 9 gates. So when these 9 gates are illuminated by knowledge, okay. So now what we are doing is actually what is the cultivation of knowledge. This is the culture of knowledge, okay. So even though we are in evening, which is more prominent with ignorance, the time is prominent with ignorance, but goodness is taking precedence. Goodness is taking precedence even in the evening, which is supposed to be more prevalent and more dominating by mode of ignorance. Okay, so this is the mode of ignorance we can understand. Then comes mode of passion. O chief of Bharatas, when there is an increase in a mode of passion, the symptoms of great attachment, fruitive activity, intense endeavor, and uncontrollable desires and hankering develops. Okay, so people become restless, people become too much competitive, too much like uh, breaking their heads, fighting with others to get their pride fulfilled, get their position intact and improved, and in this way. So then comes what's called passion, and then there is ignorance. So ignorance, when there is an increase in a mode of ignorance, O son of Kuru, darkness, inertia, madness, and illusion manifests. Darkness, inertia, madness. There are four things, and illusion manifests. All goodness and ignorance is perfectly opposite, and passion is between. Okay, so now let's go ahead to section 2. So far we discussed how these 3 modes are working and how we can detect it, that which mode is working when. Okay, so now we are going ahead in section 2. So ultimately the lesson is going to come in at the end. Lord Krishna gives a full to lesson at the end of every chapter. Specifically we see in Bhakti Yoga section and as well in the Jnana Yoga section, which is actually we are continuing on. After every chapter, Lord Krishna concludes that the way to attaining that perfection is to doing devotional service unto Lord Krishna. Okay, so from 14th sloka to 11th sloka, it's mentioned effects of conditioning by the modes. Okay, what are the effects of conditioning by the modes? Okay, so let's see goodness. What is the result of being conditioned by goodness? If somebody is whole life almost influenced by goodness, whole life is all the more influenced by goodness, then after death he attains pure higher planets. So there are 2 types of planets. We are in the middle planet now. This is called Bhumandala or Bhuloka. Here most of the people are in mode of passion, and above this there are 6 higher planetary systems where people are better into goodness. Okay, they are more into goodness. More we go up, goodness increases. Okay, so bhuvar swar, bhuloka, bhuvarloka, swarloka, janloka, maharloka, tapaloka, satyaloka. So they are the lokas where mode of goodness is increasingly progressively increasing, and satyaloka is like almost 100% goodness. Okay, almost 100% goodness. So in this way, those who are influenced by mode of goodness, even in this world, they get to these pure higher planets. The second result of past actions in mode of goodness is that they develops knowledge. Okay, people those are in mode of goodness, they develops the real knowledge what we have discussed in 13th chapter. Okay, now passionate people, they take birth among those engaged in fruitive activities, and mode of passion results in miseries. Okay, and a lot of greed develops into them. Okay, that so the people those who are in mode of passion, they get into people the places where it's a lot of fruitive activities. Okay, fruitive activity means I will do this, then I will get that. Okay, I will work this much, then I will get this much amount of maybe money, or maybe some sensuous pleasure or whatever. Okay, so this is a conception in mode of passion. So they gets into lot of miseries. They get little pleasure in the beginning and a lot of miseries, prolonged miseries, and again to replace the prolonged miseries, they get again little pleasure, and again a lot of miseries. Okay, so this is the way it works for passionate people. Means for little pleasure, they have a lot of miseries. And again, they get little pleasure and they get a lot of miseries. But for the mode of goodness people, they have a happiness throughout their whole process. Okay, they're bound by happiness. So people those are mode of goodness, their lifestyle focused. Their lifestyle is such that automatically they get a lot of happiness throughout their lifestyle. But passionate people, they create havoc into their lifestyle to get little sensuous pleasure, and again they keep creating havoc into their lifestyle. Okay, but these people in mode of ignorance, they are helpless. These people are helpless. They take birth in animal kingdom. If they die in mode of ignorance, they take birth in animal kingdom. Mode of ignorance results in foolishness. Their all activities are so foolish, but they think themselves very intelligent. They think people in mode of goodness to be mad, practically. Okay, so this is their specific symptom. Foolishness, madness, and illusion develops into people those are in mode of ignorance. So just summing up, there are three destinations for the three modes. ऊर्ध्वं गच्छन्ति सत्त्वस्था, मध्ये तिष्ठन्ति राजसाः, जगन्यगुणवृत्तिस्थाः, अधो गच्छन्ति तामसाः. Those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward toward the higher planets. Those in mode of passion live on the earthly planets, and those in abominable mode of ignorance go down to the hellish planet, on the hellish world. Okay, and after uh, suffering so much of hellish life, they take birth in animal kingdom. So there are three ways by which one can either ascend or just remain there. I mean, this place is called the place of mode of passion and Bhuloka, where we are. And this is the place from where we can either make a lot of credit to go to higher lokas, and we can make negative credit to go even in the hellish planet. Or just if we keep mode of passion more intact, then we can remain right here only. Okay, so now Lord Krishna gives the little hint of liberation from these modes. Because these three modes, whatever it is, goodness, passion, ignorance, is actually uh, giving suffering. It's not giving liberation from repeated birth and death. Whatever, wherever we go, we are into this closed, compact universe, the shell, that egg, that anda of Lord Brahma. We cannot come out. So this whole three modes of material nature is working into this whole universe. So Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna, Nanyam gunamta kartaram yada drashtanu pushyati gunabhyascha paramgati madbhavam sodhi gacchati. When one properly sees that in all activities no other performer is at work than these modes of nature, and he knows the Supreme Lord who is transcendental to all these three modes, he attains my spiritual nature. Okay. So Lord Krishna gives the hint that Arjuna, if you understand that you are not the doer, modes are making us to do, and beyond modes, I am the Supreme Lord who is transcendental from all three modes, then it becomes very easy to attain my spiritual nature. Means spiritual nature means beyond these three modes. Okay. So now we are at the last section of today's chapter. From 19th sloka till 27th sloka, there is a description how one can actually go beyond these three modes, how we can break the shackles of these three modes. Are you ready to hear what are the symptoms, behavior, and the way to come out from these three modes? If you are so, please write in the chat box, ready. Okay, then I'll go ahead. Yeah, if you are ready to go ahead with this very wonderful section of this chapter, then please write in the chat box, ready. Then I shall go ahead. Okay, thank you so much, Vijay, Banjari ji, Kavya, Shri Mataji, Roji Mataji, and Dipti Ranjan. Okay, so thank you so much. So let's go ahead. Okay, very interesting section. So how to go beyond these three modes? So again, Arjuna is asking, understanding this very terrible condition of people, I mean, through the whole universe. Arjuna is asking that, oh Krishna, कलर स्त्रिगुणा नेतान अतीतो भवति प्रभो किमाचार कथम चैतास त्रिगुणान अतिवर्तते. Oh my dear Lord Prabhu, by which symptoms is one known who is transcendental to these three modes? I want to know what are their symptoms. Is there any person available in this world who is beyond these three modes? What is his behavior? What type of behavior? How he acts? How he sits? How he runs? How he walks? Okay. So what is his behavior? And how does he transcend the modes of nature? And even if he transcends, what is the way to transcending these three modes of material nature? Okay. So Lord Krishna gives a description of the behavior and symptoms of the people, those who are beyond these three modes. So there are 4 sloka at one place. Okay. So I'm not going to read slokas. I'm just going to read out for you the translation of this sloka. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O son of Pandu, he who does not hate illumination, attachment, and delusion when they are present or long for them when they disappear, who is unwavering and undisturbed through all these reactions of the material qualities, remaining neutral and transcendental, knowing that the modes alone are active, who is situated in the self and regards alike happiness and distress, who looks upon a lump of earth, a stone, and a piece of gold with an equal eye, who is equal toward the desirable and undesirable, who is steady, situated equally well in praise and blame, honor and dishonor, who treats alike both friend and enemy, and who has renounced all material activities. Such a person is said to have transcended the modes of nature. Okay, quite interesting, right? Very difficult to see the people like this. Those who are steady, those who are not hating and not liking anything, right? Those who are beyond the conception of what is gold, what is dirt, uh, and what is stone. They understand everything to be the same. So they are equal into honor and dishonor. Somebody honors us, we feel like, wow, I'm so great. I'm worthy to be honored. Somebody dishonors us, we feel like, my God, if I would have got a opportunity, I would have just given one big punch. I would have just killed him. If somebody dishonors us, right? Somebody blames us uselessly, there was no fault, then you feel like so much disheartened. So this is the actually the qualities of those who are actually beyond these three modes. Okay, quite very interesting. Almost impossible to get if we think for our own self, right? But Arjuna has asked also that how we can go ahead, how we can actually go beyond these three modes, because there is no other way than going beyond three modes. Okay, unless one transcends these three modes, one cannot have the complete happiness into their life and cannot go beyond this universe and reach to the transcendental abode. So Lord Krishna gives one short solution. Okay, one-stop solution to go beyond these three modes. मां च यो अव्यभिचारेण भक्ति योगेन सेवते सगुणान् समतीतैतान् ब्रह्म भूयाय कल्पते. Lord Krishna says, one who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. Wow, so interesting. Lord Krishna gives all the solutions at one shot. He says, one who engages in full devotional service to me, means those who do devotional service to Krishna. Okay, what are the devotional service? I have already informed you. There are 9 types of devotional services, amongst which 2 is most prominent. Anybody can do that. Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pad Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atma Nivedanam. So among these 9, Sravanam and Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, anybody can do anywhere. Chanting the names of Lord Hari, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. It's as simple as that. Then chanting and hearing the same, and what we are doing now, right now, that's also one hearing, Sravanam. Okay. So, and remembering the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, in this way, if one is engaged of Vyabhicharena, Avvyabhicharana means not doing, not going anywhere other than Krishna. Okay, so Avvyabhicharana and Vyabhicharana, there are two words. Avvyabhicharana means only to Krishna and unfailing in any circumstances. As simple as that. What happens to them? He can transcend these modes, and one can find all these wonderful qualities in his own self. Like if somebody is having this service attitude toward Krishna, he gets such a wonderful, such a great internal pleasure serving Supreme Lord Krishna, that he automatically he gets all these qualities. How? He sees equal to the friends and enemies. Even though he has a friend and enemy, but he won't find to just fight with them, because he is getting extra. I mean, he's getting a higher pleasure into his heart. Okay, he is equally situated in praise and blame, because he considers that I have already got such a wonderful treasure. Now forget about this silly little blame somebody does, and somebody praises. What is the value of that? Okay, because he already having such a wonderful pleasure of serving the Supreme Lord. Honor, dishonor, treats alike both friends and enemy. So in this way, when automatically comes to that, those all symptoms, which actually symptomizes going beyond these three modes. Okay, so Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate, one automatically comes to the level of Brahman. Brahman means that is beyond this material, I mean a dark material universe. Okay. And Lord Krishna says, "O Arjuna, you must understand that Brahman light, the impersonal Brahman, is also situated upon me. Okay, upon my personal form. Okay. So Brahmano hi pratishtaham amritasya avyasya cha shashvatasya cha dharmasya sukhasya kantikasya cha. And I am the basis of impersonal Brahman, which is immortal, imperishable, and eternal. And is this the constitutional position of ultimate happiness? Okay. So in this way, Lord Krishna concludes how to come to the level of, I mean, how to come beyond these three modes, and who is Krishna ultimately is none other than the source as well as the pratishtha, the basis of Brahman. That is actually the ultimately and the ultimate destination of people, those who want to go beyond these three modes. Okay, so now we are just at the end of our today's discussion. Let's go ahead with summary. The first section we saw how these three modes are binding. These three modes are binding practically every living entity in this universe, every living entity, except for the Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu in this world. Everybody is bound, even Lord Brahma too. Okay, so there is no exception. Goodness with happiness and knowledge. Goodness bounds with happiness and knowledge, passion by fruitive acts, and ignorance by madness. Okay. Now we saw in second section, Sattva gets you up. If Sattva Guna, if you are having cultivation of Sattva Guna, it will get you up in this particular life. Forget about after death. Okay. Raju keeps you in middle, where you are, you will be there only. I mean this, I mean this Bhumandala, Bhuloka, where fruitive activity is so much uh, advertised, and they are into it. Okay, so then third way is third mode. I mean Tamoguna get you down into hellish planet. Okay. Then at last we saw Lord Krishna, Arjuna asked three questions. Let me know, oh Krishna, what is the symptom of someone who has actually beyond these three modes, how he acts, what is his behavior, and third, how one can come beyond these three modes. So Lord Krishna describes all the different qualities what he heard just now. And he also tells, Mam chova vicharena bhakti yogena sevate, whoever takes to my devotional service avvyavicharena, undeviated, only to me. For him, going beyond three modes is very easy. Very swiftly he goes beyond these three modes, and he finds himself unto that transcendental happiness, where it's become very easy to symptomize all those qualities of being beyond these three modes. So we can transcend these three modes through undeviated devotional service to Krishna, and that Krishna is the basis of Brahman. So thank you so much. Again, wishing you all very wonderful life, specifically COVID-free life, and wonderful opportunity to serve the Supreme Lord by chanting the holy name. Now, this is such a wonderful opportunity for the humankind to be there at their home and to give out very special time of human life to invest into their eternal constitutional well-being. That's called reaching towards Supreme Godhead. Okay, by chanting the names of Lord Krishna specifically, which is actually dharma of this age of Kali Yuga. Chanting the names of Lord Hari, anybody can come to that transcendental platform, perfection. Okay, so always keep chanting the names of Lord Hari. I heard some of you are having this mantra meditation sessions also. So please keep attending that, and it will be a very wonderful journey in our life and beyond. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. If you have any comment, any question, you can put there in the group, in WhatsApp group. I'll be very happy to answer them all. Hare Krishna. Meeting again next week.